So the only thing that I want to emphasize here is that Tech-Omek, we're a small company. We've been around for 4 years. We're based in Israel. We have a 35 people team. We've made huge leaps and strides in this industry. It's a moving industry, but it's not really about one company. This industry is about a tremendous amount of companies. The semiconductor companies are fueling this with a tremendous amount of money, energy, press, building chips that are being pushed into the next generation platforms. The platform makers are now talking about adding processing power, adding CPU into their different platforms, so that it has, no longer will a TV be just a box of, streaming video. It'll now be essentially a computer, and so will set-top boxes. So the fueling of the generation of computer vision as we see it starts from the processors and the platform makers, and a handful of different 3D cameras coming into the market today, from small startups to the largest companies in the world making these depth sensors. Tech-Omek is the middleware. Just keep looking here. Tech-Omek offers the full middleware solution, as well as building our own applications, and of course fueling applications. So we fuel game developers, people working on virtual fitness applications, people working on rehabilitation applications, fitting, home shopping, right? It's all about, we give the information to them that understands the different points of the body, the size, the shaping, and with that, we support an entire world, an entire ecosystem of content to help drive this type of interaction to market. The evolution for 3D sensors, most people are interested in, say to us, no matter who we meet, when is this really coming to market? Of course, over the past couple weeks, almost months now, there's been a lot of excitement around this type of interactivity. Of course, it's a little bit console related, but it's not a console experience. It's an experience that over 2011 and 12 and 13, these different platforms are coming to market, worldwide launches of various systems like set-top boxes, media center, living room PCs, and eventually even the mobile phone and the handhelds, which will have these 3D sensors built into it. And whether it'll be that you're sitting in a car and you'll want to just control your cell phone or the inner workings of your car without leaning over and touching everything, or whether it's an actual gaming application or you're just flipping through your pictures on your television, it's all about this type of interface. And these products are coming to market as early as Q2 of this year. We'll start seeing stuff on the marketplace fueled by Tech-Omek's middleware. I want to take a minute to talk about some of the applications, because I think that this group is a little bit focused on the usability case of our technology. So let me just run through and go in a little bit deeper to some of the stuff I was talking about. Virtual fitting is an exciting industry, and it's an industry that's starting in the stores and of course going into the homes. The ability to actually understand the dimensions of a person's body, flip through a wrap of clothing, try something on, see how it fits on you, move, and let the cloth actually mimic your body and choose whether you actually like how this looks on you is something very, not futuristic, but it's something that we're actually working on developing with some partners today. In the field of rehabilitation, we were approached by some really exciting partners who work with a lot of hospitals across the world, who actually held our software up to a $500,000 piece of motion capture software and looked at the accuracy of the data points and decided that with a little bit of tweaking, which we've now done, they can get rid of the entire suit and system and get enough accurate information about the rotations of the shoulder, the movements of the different joints, to apply this to actual home rehabilitation application. So that, or I should say, not only home, in clinic and at home. So if somebody is suffering post-stroke and needs, to do certain exercises for the mobility of a limb, and the most effective use could be through virtual reality, through gaming, to try to maximize without overextending the motions of your body. And then you go home and they say, okay, squeeze the ball 50 times. That doesn't always replicate into quicker advancements. But now you can go home and actually replicate that same experience, stream the information to and from the clinics, and to the clinician, and not only advance the therapy, but really, to move it, to expedite it, and to have so much more success with people doing the procedures correctly. I'll give one more example, and then I want to show you some demos of what we've been working on. So I started by talking about fitness, since it is fitness tech. We had this dream early on of, again, getting as many people active and using the software. And I heard some questions in an earlier panel about, how do you know how people move and the accuracy, and you want to do it right. And yeah, you can put as many things on as you want, and you can hold as many extenders as you want. But really, if you want to get it to the most people out there, you have to be able to step in and do nothing and play and get sort of feedback that's good enough to be able to call it a healthy regimen. So again, we supply this SDK, we supply the software to applications developers who are looking to build game-like content where it can be just for fun, simple gameplay, or it can be to maximize the understanding of how people move in real time and to use that to better their health, to lose weight, to actually have a good time, to maneuver around a 3D world, to mold a piece of clay in virtual space. And so that's really what our software does and what it lends itself to. And what we're going to show you today are just some of the in-house games, which we are focused on active entertainment that we've built today. Our studio is focused on really trying to build the right type of games to help our platform partners launch with some content that's going to make people excited to buy it. So you can, I think, jump into the games, and I'll talk a little bit while Rebecca plays.
What do we want to start with?
We created the studio almost immediately after starting a software company, because we knew that the software was meant to fuel developers, and if you don't understand the pains of the developers and the needs of the developers, you really can't supply them with what they need. But our studio has morphed into creating first-grade demos, and now what we think are the best games, probably outside of the console makers. Of course, one of the key factors of everything we do is it needs to have low GPU and CPU consumption, because we're not assuming that we have these high-powered, high-end PCs. We're assuming that they're going to run on a set-top box. So everything Rebecca does is again, with the gestures of her hand. Either she can put her hand with like a hotspot or click and play. Use a combination of what we call tracking and gesture recognition. So when she moves in certain ways, it tracks and mimics her emotions one-to-one, as it did with this motion capture. But it's also looking to know if she makes certain gestures, which aren't one-to-one. So if she would jump, it's not actually going to show her kind of jump. It's going to show an animation that's triggered because we've decided that she's made a successful jump. Okay, Rebecca's not so good. Show another application, Mark? Maybe the boxing, and then I'll show the UI. So one of the tools that we give to developers, which I think I'm pretty sure is completely unique to our industry, is it's called an automated gesture learning tool. And though I don't know how many people are highly technical in this room, when you want to play through one of these experiences, again, we have to understand if you've made a certain move, if you've punched, if you've jumped, and you don't always want to see yourself. You often want to see a graceful-looking self. We also have to deal with lag time and one-to-one experiences. So when developers develop software, it's extremely complicated to build a gesture. It's development time and it's a lot of money. And we've completely automated the process to make it a simplistic process that any technician can basically record, throw into our black box, and come out with pre-programmed gestures. And you can constantly modify it. You can make things easy, you can make things hard, you can level it off based on the accuracy and the difficulty that you want to accomplish. So it's really a huge accomplishment of our company. And again, we're the only ones in the industry that allow it to be automated. But this is much more interesting, so I'll let you watch Rebecca Fox.